It's been such an emotional day, and it's been an incredible day. I think for the first time, you know, being here with the ranchers and having a chance to hear from victims of trafficking, speaking with residents and our law enforcement official, Senator, about how this border crisis has affected them, and learning firsthand what it's doing to our country and what it's doing to the people that are being trafficked. At least that gives us kind of a platform to know where we're going to go from here, because we understand now how badly this has affected our community. And I think I feel blessed, and I'm also ready to fight. You know, when you hear these stories, right?
Yes,
I don't know if you feel the same way.
I do. You know, it's so interesting, and when you think about the day that we've had,
right,
starting out on the early morning ride and being out there, seeing where people have come across during the night, and
then in the morning where we saw them
Yes.
actually crossing and talking to us and crying and carrying their children in their arms.
Yes, and saying we've come this far, and knowing that behind every bit of this, every one of these individuals, every ID we picked up, everything, that the cartel has a piece of that action, because as we've been told, nobody crosses without permission from the cartel. And then hearing from the business owners and the ranchers and the victims of human trafficking, and just seeing the impact of this, because the cartels are involved. They feel like nobody's going to stop them.
Absolutely. And you know, I think what really hit me too is the fact that our policies are emboldening these cartels, right? So the hundreds of billions of dollars that these cartels have amassed in the death of children, in the trafficking of women and children, in the narcotics that is pouring into our country, that is killing our own children, right? This is the money that they are amassing to work against us.
Yes.
It's literally like we are funding our adversaries.
Well, and then we have heard from the local officials and from the Border Patrol how the cartel's job is to get them to the U.S. soil, to touch the USA. And we watched that coyote lead them across the river, and then he turned around to go back and get another group and to lead them. And then we find out what they've been subjected to along the way. And the fact that the perception is that this administration is not going to do anything to them,
Right.
allows them to move forward. And then we hear the stats from Border Patrol and DPS. In 1 month, the first quarter of this fiscal year, they apprehended 143 criminal aliens, people that had been convicted of crimes. And this is manslaughter, it is rape. These are serious crimes. They serve their time. They go back to Mexico, and they're coming back.
And they're coming back to our communities.
That's
They're not
right.
just staying here in Texas.
They apprehended 143 in 1 3-month period of time.
So how many
That's
more
a
get
danger.
in?
That's right. And then when you hear about the known gotaways and the unknown gotaways, and you know that there is a multiplier that is a factor in this, of these terrorists, of these criminal, illegal aliens that are coming into the country. And I think that is so important. Sarah, we've heard it time and again, not everyone is coming for a better life.
Right.
And there are those that are coming to set up the cartel hubs in sanctuary cities, to sell the drugs, to do the
To sell the people that they're
the
trafficking.
human, that's right.
What about the body that was found right here near the ranch?
Right.
We saw pictures of that. We won't be showing that publicly, but we saw pictures of a man that was beaten to death
By his own crew. that
by
he
his
was
own
trafficking.
traffickers.
Right.
So this is what's happening that I think the American people aren't hearing. And while you were talking, I was thinking of like the false promises too.
Yes.
Because a lot of these people come here with the impression that there's going to be something given to them, and now they're sleeping on the streets, and there's children sleeping on the streets, and they're angry at President Biden,
Yes.
which is interesting when you talk to them, because they thought for some reason this was open.
That's right. They said Biden told them to come. Biden said the border is open. And so they make this journey. They give their money to the cartel. The cartel is benefiting from this. And the U.S. taxpayer is finishing that journey.
Right.
As soon as they touch U.S. soil, then they're sending them to a city where they want to go.
And I think right now, I mean, just watching what's happened, I feel fired up. I know I said that in the beginning. I know that you are all the time. I mean, this is part of the work that I want to do, is to educate the public, and, you know, for us to do something to save, especially because it's GOP female senators that were here that are focused on, you know, human trafficking, child trafficking. Maybe we start there. You know, that's something
Yes.
I've talked to you about. This is where we start. I cannot imagine that there is not a bipartisan effort in stopping the trafficking and the slavery of human beings.
It is modern day slavery, and there should be bipartisan agreement that we will not allow the cartels to sell these individuals, to take their lives from them, to put them into these sex trafficking rings. Talking to a survivor of sex trafficking and hearing what she was subjected to as a 12-year-old, and how she was able to remove herself from this. We cannot allow this kind of abuse of human beings and the human spirit to continue, and it is just so wrong.
It is it's actually the opposite of everything our nation stands
That's
for.
right. It is not compassionate,
Right.
and it is not focused on freedom.
Well, I know you're gonna do the good fight. I'm gonna do the good fight.
I know
We're
you
gonna
are.
do it together. And I just hope that by being here, the American people understand this and join us in that fight. I don't care if you're a Republican, a Democrat, a Green Party member, or you know, a
Independent. It
libertarian,
doesn't
an independent.
matter.
And as women, we should all be joining together to fight
That's
this
right.
fight, right?
That's exactly right.
Thank you.